Welcome to Pivot, a podcast hosted by Katie Day, where we find out how business owners have been pivoting their businesses to stay relevant and successful.
All right. Hey guys, what's going on? Katie Day with the Move Me to Texas team with Coldwell Banker down here in Houston, Texas. Today, I am joined by my friend Marty out in Northern California with Coldwell Banker. How are you today, Marty?
Doing great, Katie. Doing great.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me on board.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm glad we were able to connect. Marty and I guess, initially met online on Facebook, right, through the Coldwell Banker network, just being involved and kind of knowing a lot of the same people. And we both recently, this year were chosen to be on the Gen Blue Social Squad, so part of kind of the hype group or the promo group for our annual conference that's virtual this year. So we've been connecting a lot lately. So I'm excited to kind of dig into everything that's going on in your world and all that. So I guess we'll just hop right in. So as far as your background, have you always been in real estate, or what led you to where you are today?
So I started real estate. I'm in my 25th year. So I guess you can call me a veteran, so to speak, in real estate. I started 24, 25 years ago, became Rookie of the Year. I came from a sales background that provided me, nothing for what I, preparing me for this career. And so that's one of the things that I've been experiencing is through my entire career in this change, being pivotable is just extremely necessary to being a good real estate agent. Mm-hmm. Every time we think we have things down, it's not.
Yeah. So are you originally from Northern California?
Yeah, born in San Fran, raised in Marin County. We're the good side of the Golden Gate Bridge. In a little town called Larkspur, which is surrounded by other little towns that comprise a pretty affluent community called Marin. It's pretty nice. Great schools. I love growing up here. And I've traveled the world, but it's always fun to come home.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as real estate, obviously you've been in real estate for a while. I guess let's talk a little bit about kind of how things have changed. Mainly what I'd like to focus on is like this year, right? And like, obviously I know California's restrictions on real estate, were a lot different than in Texas. So, it was definitely, and still are, right? So there's definitely a lot that agents have had to do to adjust their business and focus more on technology and stuff like that. So let's talk a little bit, I guess, about kind of how things have been this year and what you've done to stay successful.
Well, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. California, wow, we got just the lid slammed on us. I was literally told on St. Patrick's Day of this year, go home, we'll let you know when you can poke your head out. And it's like, well, what about business going on? I had a big commercial deal in play, and I had all this other stuff. It was really crazy, and we were not deemed as an essential business until May. So finally, we got to peek out and start actually doing some stuff. We were told the government's got these programs for us to help us get through. The people who were in the commercial deal got so whacked out about what's going on in the media, they pulled the plug.
Yeah.
They walked on something. Somebody jumped right in for $400,000 more. It was just interesting. Interesting days. So we got through that and started coming out. But the thing that's neat is the COVID, by what it did, it gave us an opportunity to kind of regroup and to see what was being painted in the future. In my opinion, I feel like all the things that we're dealing with and going through right now today is stuff that was going to be happening anyhow within the next 4 years. It just kind of all of a sudden hit us at once.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess for that kind of 60-ish day period between like St. Patrick's Day and May, when real estate was deemed essential, what things did you, do, or how did you, I guess, adjust as far as, getting things done, ensuring that you stayed in contact with your clients, and stuff like that?
Well, the easiest thing was these little things called phones. And just started calling everybody, just asking how they're doing, man. And that was the biggest thing. People just wanted to be reached and contacted and have some type of a communication. The other thing that's neat is Coldwell Banker provided us with Microsoft Teams.
Yeah.
And I quickly learned how to use that at the end of March.
Yeah.
And to the point where I started calling up clients on Teams, arranging for little soirees, little groups of them. We tried a little wine event one time, which is really interesting. I felt like a lush sitting at home drinking by myself, but hey, all my friends are online.
It was,
right?
you were on, yeah. You get a pass.
So it was fun. But in doing that, it then transferred my skills when we were deemed essential and we actually could start doing our things. It was neat to kind of bring it back to old school because I'm an old school kind of real estate guy. And I had one client who wanted one property, and it was interesting how it was all getting put together. And you just say, hey, let's fill out a DocuSign offer. Let's quickly, email it over, blah. Was not going to work in that particular situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to get online, and this client was actually from Texas. So I had to explain to him the nuances between our contracts versus his.
Yeah.
And and how it all worked, and then throw in the thing because it was a ranch and how there's a commercial aspect to it. Put it all together, so I was able to get on Teams and go through the contract with him.
Yeah.
Page by page, so he understood it. We filled it out properly, and then when it came time to present it, the person who was selling it was somebody who had no business owning a ranch. It was a dentist who just bought it as a spec, because he's sitting on a bunch of cash, and all of a sudden COVID hits and his practice was starting to go under, and he needed his money out, and so I was able to put that on Teams and go through the contract about how we're going to go through and make this whole kind of thing work. The unfortunate part for him was he purchased the property from his neighbor friend with the neighbor's some relative like way up north, a couple hundred miles away, who did this all, remotely. So all the purchase thing, there was no disclosures. I mean, it was just a mess, and we had to sort through it. So because we were able to get face to face like this and talk and look at the contract, even though I wasn't sitting at the same table with them, it made it all work.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that this whole scenario with the COVID has really been kind of helping us, is to get regrounded on what the right things are.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, it's getting face to face, because in many times prior to COVID, I would like to actually get at a table, at least get face to face with the other agent, if not the clients.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I think that, by using Teams, by using Zoom and different, video chat things, it's definitely made it a lot easier. And it's something that I think for us, in our team and our office, we're going to continue to use even when we can meet face to face and things like that, because it makes it way more efficient to be able to review it, for me to be able to share my screen and say, I'm on page 1, I'm looking at paragraph 2. And, normally when you're on email, they're like, wait, which page? Wait, where are you? And, it's everyone can stay literally on the same page, and it makes it a lot more efficient and a lot easier for sure. So,
well, and Katie, I'm sure you've had this happen too. How many times have you emailed somebody something, you call them up on the telephone, and they're supposedly looking with you, and then you're hearing in the background the voices of other things kind of going on, and you're wondering, are they really paying attention? And it's hard to do. Whereas when you're on Teams, you know exactly what they're looking at.
Locked and loaded.
Right. So that's been a really cool benefit. Also, I think it's a real good benefit that this has taught a lot of real estate agents that they really need to get their business together. They really need to be planned and organized. They really need to get some things going, or they're just going to fall by the wayside.
Yeah. And that's, I think, what we realized too, because basically it was like between March and April, I think everyone was shutting down. It was really a tale of two real estate agents, right? Like you had the people that continued to buckle down and do what they needed to do, and a lot that were like, well, can't work, so I'm just going to go, I don't know what, right? So those that really
selfies of them in a bathing suit where they shouldn't be, right?
maybe I didn't see many of those, but so I guess flipping it flipping it over kind of to the personal side, I know that it's been, for me, like we've been cooking a lot more, we've been spending a lot more time at home, which can, obviously always start to feel a little suffocating, but it's been great, being able to spend time, with family and stuff like that. What would you say would be the biggest positive that you've seen, kind of over the past few months personally?
Personally, for me, is I'm a member of a very prominent church in town, and I'm an usher for one of the services, and I taught in the church, etc. I saw that we were shut down, and my community was like, "Oh my God, what do we do?" And so I volunteered because we're techie, we're filming houses all the time. I grabbed my video equipment, went down, started filming masses 3 times a week. And I was able to build a quick YouTube site and throw it up there, and it's all going on. So that personally for me was huge, because I've been working my real estate career trying to see what I can do to get more business from also where I, practice my faith. Spent thousands of dollars on advertising and the mislets and all this other kind of junk, and had 2 deals over 20 years. Whereas all of a sudden now everybody recognizes me as the real estate dude, and it's just it's amazing that what's kind of come back without even asking for it. Definitely the food has been fun. The cooking on Teams is interesting. I made galupsi with one client. It was Russian. I mean, there's just all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah. A lot of the restaurants here have been doing like meal kits. So they'll send you all of the ingredients, and they're like par cooked. So then you just have to like heat them up, combine them, and stuff like that. And that's been really cool to be able to have like, higher quality meals, at home. So that we've done that a few times, and it's been a blast.
Then the other thing that I really like is people now have a lot more respect for their homes and the quality of life that their home is providing them.